Alright guys, before we get into the video, I want to talk about my YouTube membership program. Every week, I'm offering Metagame Monday After Dark, where I am laying out the blueprint for how to attack the metagame in the coming week. It's the exact same stuff that I'm going to be applying to my decks. You have a front row seat to that. Then I'm also playing Eyes on the Prize, where Eureka22422 and I will be playing out the finals matchups from the previous week of the Legacy Challenges, and you get to see awesome situations like Super Shredder beating turn 3 Emrakul attack. Then, of course, I'm also recording my challenge runs. Sometimes they end up in a win. You have a challenge from round 1 all the way to the finals. And, of course, my 5-0 league runs. All of that stuff is exclusive to my YouTube members. So make the $5 investment, and I'll see you over there. Now enjoy the video. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another gameplay video here on my YouTube channel. I love Affinity. That's no secret to anyone. And today I'm going to try out a red splash, slight red splash for Whip Flare, simply to get a sweeper into the mix with energy at the top tables. I think this could be a cool inclusion. Note that it will kill off your Emery and tiny patchworks, which is not nothing, but I consider it the best sweeper for the deck. In order to facilitate it, I have 2 volcanic islands in place of a basic island and a single sink. I think that's totally reasonable concession to make in your mana base. Volcanic Island even helps hardcast Emissary, so there is that. Other than that, this deck is an Emissary Kappa Cannoneer spam zeros deck that also has aggressive draws with Patchwork. It has Memory Guardian as, let's call it the glue card. It's annoying for tempo opponents with their bolts and pushes, pitch to force, puts on pressure in the air. Then we have Emery for grindy elements. And of course, Urza Saga is a must-kill land that comes with a tiny flexibility package, like a Needle. The name Sneak Attack, Flip Tameo, Wasteland, what have you. Shadow Spear to trample over and win damage races. And then we have Skateboard, which a few players have asked me about, whether this card is better than Boots in the deck. I consider it slightly better than Boots. I'll say it like this. Skateboard is a better card to either tutor or Emery back, because you kind of have a little bit of control over the timing of the tap. And then as a natural draw, I think Boots is slightly better. So if you think Skateboard is going to be in your deck rather than your hand the majority of the time, I think you should play this card. If you think you're going to be drawing the 1-drop more often than not, early, you should be playing Boots. Sideboard, very straightforward for my taste. I have a million cards against combo. We need that against show and tell strategies, Mystic Forge, trending, etc. I'm hanging on to the Dismembers, but they are maybe on the chopping block. They're fine against any Tameo deck, any energy deck, right? Second Needle is also a flex slot, but I do like it for my tempo mapping when I'm trying to cut my forces for, let's say, Needle, Spellbomb, and 2 Dismembers. You can just name Wasteland and maybe get to stick an Urza Saga. And then 3 Tormarch Crypt against mainly Oops, but Fast Reanimator is also out there. So, yeah, I love Affinity. I have maybe a handful of top 8s under my belt, but I don't think I've ever had a, let's say, successful video with the deck on the channel. So sometimes that's just a little bit random, right? Struggling in the leagues, crushing the challenges. Who would have known? All right, let's get into some games. All right, guys, look at this message. Oh my God, I'm a massive fan. I've been using your sideboard and player guide nonstop. I'm using it now. Dang, that's huge. I was about to make a bad joke about this being a mirror match with my opponent's username, but my opponent, yeah, they made my day here. That's amazing. I play Magic for the impact. Like, that's why I make content, right? That's why I press record. That's why I write my guides. That's why I try and be a positive force. It's all to pass it forward. That's, dang, that means a lot to me. And this is even funny because the opponent is signing up to a mirror match here. The Affinity mirror match. It looks like this is turn 1 Emery. Oh no, it's turn 1 Patchwork. This is a card I think I should try and beat fair and square, so to speak, by racing. I think this Shadow Spear gives me a good shot at exactly that. Still have Force of Will for stuff like Kappa, etc. If my opponent doesn't crack the bauble here, that does tell me that the Kappa Cannoneer is coming. So let's see, what can I do here? I can go Seat of the Synod, Mox Pedal. Play Automaton. That's probably the play. Then next turn I go Shadow Spear, Guardian. I hang on to the Sink into Stupor. Yeah, and now the opponent realizes we're playing the mirror, which is hilarious. Patchwork. My opponent wants to force this. I think it's fine. I'm forcing with Sink into Stupor if my opponent plays Kappa Cannoneer. Really rooting for not Ursa Saga. Yeah. Ursa Saga plus Kappa Cannoneer is brutal because, sure, I can force the Kappa, but the Saga is going to be an issue. There's a lot of, random factors that goes into a mirror, like if they can resolve Kappa, they're probably winning that game. One player draws a Saga, the other player doesn't. That's for sure impactful. So now I have to kind of win in the air. Kappa Cannoneer. So I can play that next turn, I guess. So let's see. Shadow Spear. That card does a pretty good job of racing, especially with unblockable. Guardian. I'm now up to 6 artifacts. So next turn I can play Kappa. Yeah, I think I'm losing this game, but we're gonna give it a good college try here. Because the opponent is gonna have 2 huge creatures. And they might get, oh wow. Yeah. That draw is unfortunately not beatable for me. Oh well. Double Saga versus 0. That's magic. How big are these guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the opponent's going to make a 5/5. Drawing Bauble still lets me attack in the air, which is not nothing. So what's better, attacking for 3 or cantripping? Attacking for 3 or cantripping? I could also be attacking for 4, I guess. 5, sorry, because my opponent will make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the opponent will also go for Shadow Spear, and we are in a terrible position. Maybe. This is brutal. What's more important? I think it's more important to keep the engine running. So I go blue, improvise, 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 improvise. Play that card. Cash in. Take 1,000,000 damage. The opponent's thankfully drawing a brick. They have Ursa Saga going with Shadow Spear in their deck. That is brutality. So even if I draw like artifact, I don't think I'm doing anything here. I think this is too late. The opponent will have 4 10/10s before mine gets going. I can't complain about my draw, right? It was just worse than my opponent's. I had Force of Will and 1,000,000 creatures with a Shadow Spear. Pick creatures, so this is just a matter of I drew well, my opponent drew, I don't know, perfectly or really powerful. Not much to do there, especially in mirror match where the counterplay is so, few and far between. Can't really do anything but force the Cannoneer and hope it's enough. So here comes the equip, I guess. And then the opponent can play Opal. I wonder if the opponent should have equipped. Depends if they have a play or not. If they don't have an additional play, I think equipping Patchwork is better. Chalice on 0. So I'm using it now. I've never proposed anybody to play Chalice in Affinity, so there's that. Yep, I'm gonna take the damage here. The opponent can then tutor, make a token and tutor next turn. Yeah, this is brutality. Well, there's Pinnacle Emissary. But I don't think there's any way out of this for me. So I can warp the Emissary, pump this guy, make this unblockable. Equip, that's 7. I'll go to 13 with no blockers. That's not... What if I have one blocker? I'll still take more than lethal. Yeah, okay, we can move on here. Okay, so I'm playing against Chalice Affinity, which is interesting. Chalice Affinity. So Needle makes no sense when we're playing the same cards. Double Dismember is good. I have to cut one card. Forcible is good for Emery, Kappa. So maybe this is a trimming situation. So I can either trim a Volcanic Island or a 0-drop. Maybe I'm okay trimming Volcanic Island in a matchup where my opponent is not going to be attacking my mana. Ooh, the Affinity Mirror. I guess that's just whoever draws the best, right? I guess if you draw the exact same cards, you can make some smart attacks here and there, but yeah, that's very draw dependent. I guess that can be some double block situations that are, you can have good timing with your Dismember, play well with the Skateboard tap ability. Yeah, let's see if we can draw slightly better here. Then we're gonna have no trouble winning the game. I guess we should be rooting for us to draw the exact same cards and then see how that play out. That could be awesome. What's the dream here? I guess just develop Saga with something else, or turn 1 Emery. Those are kind of the dream scenarios. Turn 2 Kappa asks Force the Will of the opponent, or the game is over very often. All right, I'm playing first. Let's see what I can do. Oop, oop. This is a weird hand that I am gonna keep because it has, you know, I can force something and play a Kappa in somewhat of a, I mean, turn 3 at the latest, right? I think I should just play a tap line turn 1. My opponent plays Emery, I'll pitch to Guardian. Hang on to the Mox because of Patchwork and Emissary reasons. Yeah, this is just a fine hand, right? Lose to Uncontested Ursa Saga. That's how Magic works. Decent against other average hands. Turn 1 tap land. Then see what happens from there. Slow rolling Mox Opal against somebody who showed Chalice is not free. But I will expect my opponent to either have the card in their sideboard or simply... Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what I'm expecting. My opponent Chalice for zeros me here. It is what it is. I don't think I can expect my opponent to make what I consider a bad play, right? Unfortunately, this is a hand where I have to force the Patchwork. That card can grow out of... Ooh, opponent forcing back. Oh, well. All right. Opponent has turn 1 Patchwork. Let's see how big. So, worth noting is, unless the opponent has a Naked Force in hand, there's quote-unquote no reason to play out the bubble now. Because, in theory, the opponent could draw another Patchwork, right? They forced me back. Not sure about that, but I guess we take it. Here's a Patchwork. So, I don't think there's any reason for me to play this Opal. I could draw another Patchwork, etc. The next turn I can play Kappa Cannoneer, but it's going to cost a lot of damage. And it's pretty important how my opponent follows up here. Shadow Spear is very, very strong. but no land and attacking for 3. So I guess we take that development. The opponent had a land, they would have played it and equipped, so no land. That is actually, funnily enough, it's a little bit brutal. Draw Dismember. Huh. I think I should... Oh, this is tight because... This is tight. Because if I take more damage... If I take 4 now, go to 10... Yeah, I need to dismember this turn, which sucks. So... Pass that card, pay for the ward. Hope to not get forced. There's that as well. I'm just losing to this card. Okay. Play land. Pack for 1. Note that this Opal is not doing anything because the opponent is on the Chalice version. Chalice in the mirror. That's very potent when the opponent plays first. I think this turn is the big one for the opponent. Note that now they have a million zeros in their deck they can draw. I'll go to 4 from tapping these tombs. This is a tough one. The opponent has to pass, and I draw another 0. So this is more or less the last spell I cast all game, which is not good. If I get forced here, I almost can't see myself winning, but maybe there's a chance. It resolves. Hanging on to these guys because I could still draw Emissary. This is the turn, I feel like, because otherwise the opponent is probably dead. Okay. But no play. That's interesting. Springs, but no play. Maybe the opponent has Dismember and then have drawn a few zeros. Ooh. Well, guess we got a little bit rewarded here for waiting. Pinnacle Emissary. Kappa's now unblockable. I'm just going to get the tokens here. Kappa grows. Patchwork grows. Maybe this is lethal. We got a little bit lucky here. The opponent stopped playing the game, but it is scary that they still have Chalice in the deck. I think with that info, I should at the very least do this. At the very least. Yeah, Chalice is so scary. Chalice is super scary. Should I cut 1 more for a spell bomb? Tiny hedge, I think. Because it makes at least Pinnacle draws worse. I guess Guardian draws as well. But if there's a Chalice in play, I mean, drawing a 1-drop instead of a dead card is better. I don't know. It's tough to walk that balance because I still think it's it's not the best to have the Chalice to begin with. But I guess on the play, there's a better case for it. On the draw, I don't see what's smart about that. I guess the opponent treated it as like a random 0, like a Tormarch Crypt style card. All right, so on the draw in the Affinity Mirror, yeah, I mean, what are we going to do? We're going to lose to Chalice. We're going to lose to a lot of things. Like Saga. I don't think I can mulligan. I think I should keep turn 1 Guardian. Especially, well, there's also just the fact that if I draw, you know, Emery, Kappa, Cannoneer, and what have you, I already have the means to play them. I'm a little bit scared about all of the explosive draws the opponent can have. And I'm scared about Chalice. I don't know. Does that warrant a mulligan? Because usually when you play against, I don't know, Oops All Spells or Mono-Red Prison, or then you can kind of go down the list, and if you don't have enough check marks, then maybe you can't keep the hand. Okay. No Chalice, no Pops. So this has, unfortunately, Ancient Tomb written all over it. So what can I do here? I can play these cards. I can play Artifact Land. And now I can slow roll, I guess. Play that card. Bobble twice. Emissary. Well, they just extended some 0, so maybe that's fine. I'm going to cash in both baubles now because I need to get to the good stuff here. Patchwork. Naked Force. Yeah. These are not exactly how to win the game. But it's hanging on to Saga here. Good call. I draw my own Saga. That's not terrible. So let's play Patchwork Automaton versus Saga. Hang on to the pedal. Send the clown. So now at the very least, I mean, we both have a Saga, right? And I have other Spellbomb in my deck. I'm not sure my opponent would have that. It's funny if they have a Needle in their deck in the mirror, which is, I talked to a guy the other day, and I talked to him about just the fact that if my opponent has a deck building choice like the Chalice, right, that could still beat me, or if they have a Needle in the straight up mirror, then, you know, that could beat me. But it looks like they didn't. They have a play here. That's good. That's bad for me. Okay, so they're gonna crack a pedal to get in with a construct. Okay. Yeah, it's problematic. That's undoubtedly so. Imagine I had Dismember here. Zap. That would be insane. Then I'm winning the game, right? No Dismember. I take 6. Unclear if my opponent can actually sacrifice the baubles. I don't think they can. They should be interested in as big a construct as possible. Another opal. Let's see. I can grow this twice to a 3/3. That's not exactly the shit. So this is probably going to chump block now. Patchwork. So now, let us see. I think I just play a normal land and attack in the air. So in theory, I could play Ancient Tomb so I could hardcast Force of Will, but I don't think I'm winning a game where I'm hardcasting Force of Will here because I'm getting attacked by those guys, and I need to make my own tokens. So if I play the pedal out, my Saga is 1 bigger. Was that bad? 1, 2, 3, 4. Disruptor Flute. That is super annoying. So if I play out this pedal, this is a 6/6. Yeah, I botched it. Dang. Oh. They name Kappa Cannoneer. And then they mill Kappa Cannoneer. That is funny. Okay, so I botched it on the construct size here. I'm going to take the 7. Now this game becomes a little bit weird. Okay, make a token. Tutor. Me having drawn another Saga is pretty good. Let's see, what on earth should I tutor for here? Spellbomb is solid. Let's see. I feel like I'm outgrowing my opponent's creatures, which um 3-drop does 2 damage to non-artifacts. Yeah, I mean, there's a 2-drop called Whip Flare. Actually, should know about the other one. I should read up on that. So let's try and make this decision right. The opponent can try and Kappa out of the graveyard. The opponent's at 18. What happens if I grab Skateboard, tap the opponent's construct, play Pedal from hand? Then these are 8/8s. Then I have Lethal. Then the opponent is forced to block with Emery. If I stay back with this one, no, that doesn't work. Because the opponent can replay random thing out of the yard. Okay, this game is complicated. I'm sorry, I got a little sidetracked by the chatting here. Skateboard. Tap Emery. No, tap Construct, I guess. Okay. Then Emery has to chum block. Can I get these to 9? Because then I can also stay back with this card. What happens if I can stay back with 2 creatures here? Block, block. That should be good. So can I get to lethal on just the constructs? Skateboard makes them 7. One guy's an 8. 7. Then there's... Yeah, I'm 1 artifact short of that being enough. If I grab Spellbomb, that is a little bit of a removal spell that also takes some lifelink out of the equation. I think that's solid. So maybe let's grab Spellbomb. Let's play Pedal out. Now do what? Because these are big guys. Attacking for 11 maybe is to move. No need to play Saga before attacking. Am I attacking here? I guess that's the question as well. Attack for 8. I think is solid. What about this one? I think that's fine as well. Let's get in for 11. I'm not sure you're dead, opponent. 11 in the air. Spellbomb at the ready. Develop Saga. Pass. Then I can wait until combat to do something about the creature with Shadow Spear. So now if the opponent wants to replay Kappa, it's going to cost a lot more versus Saga. So thankfully, I'm a little bit faster with this Saga. So even though, yeah, I guess the opponent was faster with the first one, and I'm faster with this one. The opponent doesn't really have good... I mean, if they Emery the Disruptor Flute... yeah, exactly. Then they try and Disruptor Flute. I have to respond. Bouncing this construct. But I guess then the opponent tries to equip the other one, and it's smaller, and I have an 8/8. Yeah, this is probably complicated for the opponent. Let's see if they can figure it out. Yeah, I had to do a lot of work to try and figure this out from my side. I'm putting on a lot of pressure now. They Emery the Flute. They pay with Springs and Saga, take no damage. I respond. Spellbomb the Construct, and they have to equip. Go to 5. Can't really attack. And then they're on chum blocking duties. Yeah, this could be all she wrote. Also, the way Sink into Stupor works is, let's say the opponent attacks with a 7/7 here. I block, right? And then before damage, they can bounce this one and trample over for 7, but I'm not sure the opponent ever has the mana for that this game. I mean, they don't have on board, right? And only one card, but it's something to be aware of, that how trample works. I'm just gonna hit my opponent with let's see. Because, okay, so here's the opponent trying to recast Flute, and then they checking if I sleep at the wheel, I guess. Let's return that construct to owner's hand. An F6 now, no place. So now that enters. The opponent does have an attack here, which would be a trade, because I just lost an artifact that I forgot to count. So if the opponent has a 0 in hand, they can outgrow. But then I'll double block, I guess. Let's see what the opponent's choice is. Names Urza Saga, so neither of us can Urza Saga. Okay. That's probably a necessary play, although not exciting. So I will block. Now the question is, wait a minute. Can I just block with Automaton and swing for lethal? I think I have lethal now because these will be, if this blocks, these will be 6s. 6 plus 6 plus 3. And if I block there, I don't have, then my opponent goes to 12. If I block here, I have 6. I have 9. I have 11. 12 with an artifact in hand. I think I have lethal either way. So I should probably... The opponent has 0 cards. I don't think they can do anything. Let's count again to be sure. 6 after this one dies. 6, 7, 8, 11, 12 with the opal that triggers Automaton. So trading off here. Could also have blocked here, I think, but math has been bad before. Now I think my opponent has no outs because they have 1 card and 0 mana. Okay. My brain wasn't exactly fire on all cylinders here. It looks like we are able to emerge victorious in a mirror match. It was very draw dependent, I think. Funnily enough, the Spellbomb made a difference here compared to a 0 mana Cycler, because I could actually fetch it out of my deck and he lost to the Master. Yeah, good luck, buddy. Good luck, buddy. I have 11 damage here, so I guess in theory, my opponent should... Yeah, you got it. The opponent is firing some baubles, drawing a couple of cards. I play my 0, which I need. Wouldn't win without it. So let's play that. Guess let's tap this for black. And here's lethal confirmed. All right, this opponent might be a little bit more of a chatter, so I'm just gonna wrap this up. See you guys for the next match. Guys, quick pause on the video here. I just want to make sure everybody knows what a Booksmart Baron membership will grant you. I have in-depth strategy articles. I have a free tournament series with thousands of treasure chests, including 4 qualifiers in the yearly finals. I have guys sharing their ups and downs with tournament results, achievements, etc. Of course, I have the challenge calls that goes on every weekend where players are spectating each other's, hopefully, grind towards greatness. I have a ton of resources when it comes to VIPs hanging out in the server, ready to inspire and answer questions. I have guest primers from the absolute best killers in the business on their respective favorite decks. Here are some testimonials you can pause the video and read. And of course, last but not least, I have my own personal deck guides of decks that I've either 5-0'd with, top-8'd challenges with. All of that is for the taking with a Booksmart Baron membership. Remember to use code ECO50 to save in your first month. And now, let's get back to the video. All right, more Affinity action coming your way. This eye looks cool. For now, Kappa is my force pitch. That could change if I'm playing against fair stuff. So let's see. Ancient Tomb Patchwork. Ashen Bauble right away because I actively want to dig for a worse blue card. No, that's not the reason. Do it now because what? Maybe I hang on to it for a turn. It's a tough one. Maybe I should just say this is my force pitch and then cash it in as soon as possible because then I get more draws towards, you know, Saga or another Patchwork. Yeah, this is actually a tough one. I'm going to fire it right now. Let's see. This name is familiar. Ooh, Days. Yeah, Days probably not the end of the world, but it's very good to know about. Sink into Stupor. I pick out my blue card. I guess we're not forcing anything right now. Let's see. Thoughtseize. Yeah, we're not interested in getting dazed. I will proactively needle Wasteland. Let's see. Play that. Needle Wasteland. I'm also gonna play out the pedal here. Needle Wasteland. I'm just gonna push as much damage as possible. I think that's the way to approach it. I have a Force to Will in the back pocket. Or like Bowmaster is annoying because it's 2 jump blockers for my ground creature, but that's Magic the Gathering. We take that. Cameo, I'm not going to care about. Another Goyf, I'm certainly not going to care about that. Can we draw something to keep the engine running? We can. Okay. Emery, which is a must kill, and I mill over some good stuff here. That's not bad. I mill over, you know, more Patchworks. Those are annoying. 2-3 Nether Goyf not going very far right now. The opponent knows about my Force Blue card. Oh, but they like the cards. Okay. If this is Fatal Push, I Force a Will. This is double Fatal Push. I'm very sad. So this is some removal spell, Bitter Triumph, or Feat the Cycle, or whatever, I would guess. Sheldrit's Edict. I think I should Force a Will here, because if I survive with both of these, I like my spot a lot. My opponent has to force, it is what it is. They don't have the force. Are they going to attack? They are going to attack. Okay. Okay, we're getting closer here. Can we keep drawing? Nope, we can't. I mean, this card is probably not bad. What should I play out of the graveyard? Maybe I should play the Pinnacle. Sacrificing a pedal to do it, but I think that's okay. Play Pinnacle. My opponent can double daze me now, which is, annoying. You have the second daze or just one? Huh. I only had 1 daze and I guess a bad hand aside from that. Okay, so Demir Tempo with Nether Goyfs. That looks familiar. Let's bring in those 3, cut 3 forces. Oh, I even had a spell bomb. Yeah, this is, I have kind of a clear, I cut forces and I add, you know, playable cards. Second Needle for Wasteland, Spellbomb for Murktide and Baragoyf, and then a couple of Dismembers for mainly Cameo and Baragoyf, but Baragoyf can get out of reach. Cameo can be, you know, irrelevant if I'm on a heavy aggro plan. Maybe I get to kill another Goy for a Bowmaster and cash in some baubles, whatever, stuff like that. All right, all right. The mere tempo at the top tables is a good reason to be playing Affinity. You know, of course, the matchup is close and they have good cards, but I think in general, you want to be on the Affinity side of things. Let's see what the opponent can come up with here. Now they have matchup knowledge, and they're not just getting cooked by turn one patchwork. Mere tempo with another Goif. Yeah, main deck Edict though, so it's not quite my version. Okay. I have to think about this. There's a lot of dynamics. What if I get Thought Seized? What if I get to play? Yeah, I think there's a keep because mainly the cards that I'm losing to, like, oh, get this Fatal Push. What if they have Thought Seized? What if they have Force of Will? All of those are reasons to, you know, not mulligan as well. So let's see what the opponent will start the game off with. Turn one Tameo. Yeah, that's good. What can I do? I have some good draws. Let's see if I can get one. Guess like Seed of the Synod would be an awesome draw. Sink it to Stupor is not a bad draw either because it allows me to go Emissary. So let's take the damage. I'm actually going to be okay if I get dazed here. I'm going to accept. Okay. So play that. Play that. And now, should I Guardian or should I Emery? Guardian comes with an extra 1/1 for what it's worth. Guardian comes with an extra 1/1 for what it's worth. Maybe that's good. Play Guardian, cash in Bauble, see Baragoyf. That is certainly scary. Draw Petal. Is Petal good? Petal allows me to go Patchwork, Petal, Emery. Yeah, that's not bad. Could also hardcast Emissary. The Tameo can't really attack here, so maybe the opponent's looking for Double Ponder. Okay. They get Double Ponder going. That's annoying because it flips the Tameo and makes the drones bad. And the opponent has Baragoyf next turn. Maybe I need Saga to do stuff. Play that, and then play that card, attack Tameo, pass. I don't even know if this was correct. I could have gotten Patchwork going instead. Ooh, the opponent had no land. No Baragoyf here. They're forcing me to sacrifice one of these. That should probably be the Guardian, because the 1/1s that I'm getting from Emissary will benefit the Saga later. Okay, so I think I'm supposed to... This is a tough one. Patchwork plus Emery, Patchwork plus Guardian, or simply start making constructs. I think I'm going to go the construct route, but this is not trivial. So now I'm attacking that, and then I am making a token. And if I draw land, maybe I'm making a token twice and then other spell bombing. Not sure. Yes, there's Baragoyf. The opponent has 3 cards, could easily be Fatal Push. Token, untap, let's see. Okay, I do draw that, so now make a token before it goes away. My opponent is thinking about skateboard, but the thing is, that card can tap down the Baragoyf, and then what? That's kind of the thing. If my opponent has a single fatal push, then what? That's where I'm at right now. So I think the way to play this is force my opponent to spend mana on casting the card again. Let's try that. Okay, the opponent's seen enough here. Yeah, I have to give my opponent the respect here that they have a fatal push for the big creature, then Tameo survives, right? I can't go skateboard there. But yeah, we managed to overwhelm the opponent, and yeah, just one turn of, well, they didn't have an untapped land. Well, we were pretty good at punishing that, so the opponent had a solid, like, turn 1 Tameo, turn 2 Flip It, turn 3 Edict, turn 4 Baragorf. Like, that is solid, right? Mine was just slightly better. So yeah, we got the job done against Tempo. I guess let's keep rolling. All right, let's play some more Magic. I'm currently, wait a minute, 2-0 with Affinity? Yeah, 2-0. Let's see if we can keep it up. I was trying to count here, but no turn 1 Kappa. It is turn 2, though. So I guess let's just play some stuff out and hope our opponent is fair deck. And I'm not going to cash in any baubles because I have a Kappa Cannoneer coming and I have exactly 6 mana, or whatever you want to call it. 6, things to cast Kappa. All right. Artifact land. So now, with that draw, I think the correct move is to play around days by tapping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now I love my spot if my opponent's any kind of fair deck. If my opponent is an unfair deck like a Doomsday or a Show and Tell or whatever, we can still lose. I think, given the current climate, this is a good sign. Some months back, this could have meant Entomb Reanimate. Sultai. I mean, in theory, some Doomsday action could be brewing, but double Misty? Sheldred's Edict. Oof. I will certainly be choosing this one. All right. Drum Moxel Pull. So let's have a look here. Let's look at the same thing twice. I know I can get Bowmastered here, but I have to keep going. Attack for 6. Draw 2. Let's see if there's a Bowmaster in my future. No Bowmaster. So this is the time for my opponent's Sheldred's Edict. Number 2. Kind of questionable, but who knows? Up the Beanstalk, yes. That card resolves. So now the opponent has a good Force of Wills. Ooh, Emery is a good one. I'm actually going to lead on Emery because I would rather resolve the Guardian. So this is just a good practice when you're thinking about, you have 2 threats, which one to start with. Here's Guardian. Does not get forced either. So now I'm asking a lot of questions, and I'm attacking for a lot. So I have an artifact coming via Emery. I have an artifact coming via Saga, and my opponent's at 6, and I have a Kappa. So I'm not sure any Sultai Beanstalk deck will have cards to defend here, but okay, so Wasteland that. If you can also kill the Emery and present some kind of blocker for Kappa, there's a chance. Let's see what this is. Murderous Cut onto the Kappa Cannoneer. Is this perfect? Stifling that. Let's go. That's cool. Because So my opponent is on some Uro Stifle Brew. That's cool. I still have Emery in play. That's kind of the thing for my opponent. Emery recasting stuff here. And I even draw another Kappa Cannoneer. I guess I'm just the greatest at that point. Then I have to think about if I get Force of Willed. If I get Force of Willed, maybe I'm just supposed to go play. Do I have the mana to go Memory Guardian and then Kappa Cannoneer? I do, but then I skip my attack. So I should actually play like this, I think. Dang. I don't want to get dazed here. What can I do against Force of Will? Probably not that much, to be honest. Okay, well, let me Guardian out of the graveyard. Guardian. The opponent has F6 here. Oh man. This is a Magic Online thing. That could really punish me, but I'm gonna simply say my opponent seems to have F6, so let me play this card. I think if I play in paper, I'm not supposed to play the Cannoneer. I'm supposed to just attack for 3 and then ask my opponent to come up with 2 hard removals for each Guardian. Let's see if there's any kind of counterplay the opponent can do here. Up the Beanstalk, draw cards. Sure, buddy. Okay, we got there in the end. Yeah, nice play there. Murder's Cut plus Stifle. It's not bad. I will actually sideboard the exact same as I just... no, my opponent has up the Beanstalk in the deck. Okay, okay. Well, is that a Wasteland deck? I think it is. So we have a Needle instead of Shadow Spear. That's just solid, I think. And maybe don't change anything? And then just trust my plan? Okay. Okay, okay. Oh, that was a cool one. The opponent was just on the back foot, right? I guess I shouldn't have made the last play I made. I don't think I should have made that. I think I should have made like the paper play or whatever you want to call it. I think that would have been, yeah. I shouldn't have done that. I should have attacked for 3 after replaying a 3/4, and then saying, "Hey, kill double 3/4." And even if you do, I have an Emery. Also worth noting, if my opponent has a Force Will for the first cap of that game, this game is totally different. Oh, by the way, look what I have lying around here. I have a nice artist proof here, gold signed foil Kappa Cannoneer. I'm just waiting for enough members to join my YouTube membership program, and then I'll give it away. I guess that's a good one for today, with me playing Kappa Cannoneer and all. I remember the artwork for this sold, so the artist is local to me. That's why I have artist proofs. I remember when this card came out, he sold the painting like pretty fast. At that point, I had no idea that this card had, legs to keep being. This is way before Pinnacle Emissary as well, right? So if you're pouncing on that, like, you really need to be in love with the artwork out of the gates, which is a little bit of a tough call to make. This hand is fine, not great. These Seed of the Synods are like 4 lands with no sagas and no sinks. That's a lot. Yeah, this is not ideal. I actually think with this hand I'm supposed to cash in baubles right now because my opponent could be Bowmaster deck. So let's do this. Have a look at the opponent's hand. With a Bloom Command is a good one. Guess we can have an eye staring contest here with the bauble. My opponent doesn't crack it, that's annoying. Crack the fetch, that is. Most hands will have to do that, though. Okay, so they're gonna, lure and reveal or brainstorm. I guess I'll just fire it now. I really don't want my opponent to take the turn and punish me. They can stifle here, of course. Oof, up the Beanstalk. I hope they cycle lure and reveal now. Okay, they don't. So my opponent's gonna have up the Beanstalk going. I will need some good draws between double bobble and draw step to keep up the engine here. Because this card is not going to cut it alone. It doesn't even trigger off of Seed of the Synod. All right, let's see what we can draw. Skateboard, probably pretty bad. I mean, this card is now 5/5, so who knows? Okay. The opponent with no land. Oh, I guess they had land. But they... Okay. A little bit... So they could have slammed Beanstalk here. I guess... Okay. They don't have... This is the only black mana they have. That's why. So I guess a good draw here would actually be Mox Opal, because that allows me to hold up Sink into Stupor, which is kind of like a Time Walk here. Another Patchwork. This is very strong. Because now I can pay for days, play Patchwork. If this gets forced, it is what it is. If it doesn't, then I'm really doing things. When it enters, tap target permanent. Sure. Skateboard to simply just grow these clowns. Because I don't have any more mana to haste this other one. Bobble to kind of get that over with. And then attack for 6. Have a look at what the opponent's working with. There is a Bowmaster. Okay. So the good news about that is I don't really care about the size on the Orc. And my opponent has better stuff to do. Wow. Force of Will. Let's see if that is enough to put my opponent away. Wastelands. Potentially good. Potentially they don't have the luxury. Ooh. So now they have to pay. I should fight here. So my opponent needs to pay the 2 mana first. Then I should fight. Because I think if this works, my opponent's in trouble. And if it doesn't work, it is what it is. Here's the force. So now I'm down to the 3/3. Good turn for the opponent. Bobble. So I'm attacking for 5 now, and they present a Bowmaster. Which is a lot of time. Huh. The opponent lets me draw, so that means they have better things to do. What is that, Beanstalk? Memory Guardian was a great draw, because Skateboard makes it so that, by the way, that's a ridiculous name. Like, Magic cards need to have longer names. Cannot just be Skateboard or Oops or Rutro. Needs to be actual, you know, stuff that makes sense. I'm also not a fan of, like, exclamation marks or whatever. Okay, that was a sidetrack. The point is, this is now a 4-powered hasted creature that the opponent may or may not have in their thoughts, right? Now they have to pass. I am gonna say, what's the best draw here? Okay, nice play, because I could draw Sink into Stupor straight off the top. Nice play. But here, King, that's all good. Wow, another Guardian. That's sick. That is absolutely sick. Memory Guardian. Memory Guardian. Land. Haste. Must block. Go to 3. And if they want to fetch, they're down to 2. Now both Guardians are lethal. Let's pass. It's a little bit hard for that deck to kill 2, 3, 4 flyers. So it's something like... Okay, you got me. I'm really interested in my opponent's counterplay here, because they're at 3. Both of those boys are lethal. They're Fatal Push proof. And if the opponent, they need, like, Murktide plus... What's it called? Witherbloom that and drain me, I guess. Okay. They go to 5 now, so now they would need an answer for Memory Guardian, or this game is over. And even if they do, they're at 1 life. I think we got him. So Murderous cut 1, Chum Block, go to 1 is the move here, I would imagine. The opponent let me draw Sink into Stupor here. They had a good move with Bowmasters last time. This time they should have been a little bit more careful. It is what it is. The opponent's at 1 with 1 card in hand, facing down double lethal. I almost can't see how this goes wrong. Something crazy like Burrow, Stifle, Land combination, maybe? Okay. Edict with 1 card left. I think I sacrificed the flyer, because in theory the last card could be Murderous Cut. Now I don't think there's anything. Yeah. Alright, so we put enough pressure on Beanstalk with annoying threats that are hard to kill between Ward, convert a mana cost 5, and yeah, we trample and fly over the finish line. That was a sweet run. I guess we should stick to the tradition here and continue the run over on my member section. YouTube membership is something I can recommend. I have challenge wins, trophy runs, Metagame Monday After Dark every week. I have Eyes on the Prize that when I play with Eureka and the 3 finals matchups, and we talk some baloney to each other. And overall, $5 a month for 2 to 3 extra videos every week. Yeah, well, I mean, what's not to like? I hope to see you over there. And if not a problem at all. I hope to see you back soon, regardless, for some more sweet, sweet legacy action.